Hey everybody, it's Clona Comics Inc. Welcome to my redone Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The first game in the Legend of Zelda series. And I guess since it's just because it's in my nature to read things in games, I guess I'll read this. The Legend of Zelda. Many years ago, Prince Darkness, Ganon, stole one of the Triforce with power. Princess Zelda had one Triforce wisdom. She divided it into 8 units to hide them from Ganon before she was captured. Go find the 8 units, Link, and save her. So, like my Metroid LPs, I want to do a redo of this LP, because it was because I played the entire game on an emulator before, and I felt really bad about doing that because around the time I did those LPs, that was kind of before I realized that I really shouldn't do just one playthrough of games. I really should do my research on them and get into them before I do a whole LP of them, considering I am a completionist and all. So that's why I wanted to redo this LP. I also want to do I also kind of want to do some other redone LPs like the Mother series. Now, I don't think my LPs of the Zelda games or the Mother games were bad. I just think maybe I just kind of think I didn't know enough about the games, and also the videos were honestly a bit long, and yeah. So here we are playing this on an actual cartridge, and my game is actually the battery's not dead. It just sometimes deletes my data when I try to load it because my NES has trouble loading the cartridge sometimes. So our save file here might not be here. It's a bit. You'll have to excuse me a little bit. I've had a bit of a cold the past few days. I feel fine, but I may cough or sniffle a few times during this. Anyways, what do you say we go ahead and start by pressing start? Well, okay. So basically, this game actually introduced something. I think this was the first game to do this. It was the first game to introduce save files. Basically, what they were is that you could do something in the during your progress called saving, where you could basically make it so you don't have to you can do something called saving at certain points of the game, and saving will basically keep all your progress for the game, and you can like turn the game off before you can like turn the game off and come back to it another time, which is pretty innovative. But for an NES game, I think I would prefer the password system that Metroid had. So let's go ahead and register our name. Our name is Link. You can also register these ones too, but I'm just going to do this one for now. So, let's go ahead with Link, and I just want to let you listen to this awesome music for a bit. So yeah, the overall thing is a remix of the title theme, which is kind of cool. Alright, so first and foremost, controls. Use the D-pad to move in 4 directions. That's it. You can press a select to pause the game, and you can press start to bring up your inventory, which is basically the same as pausing. We don't have anything in our inventory at the moment, but we can get something in our inventory if we go in here. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. it would be suicide to go out there with just our bare hands. We can't even punch in this game. I think this wooden sword would definitely have to do. So this right here, we have a wooden sword and a wooden shield. You press A to slash your sword, and if you have well, actually, I'll get into this a little bit later. Basically, our shield will block us for most projectiles. If you use your sword, you are vulnerable for a brief moment to those projectiles. Now we head up here. We have our first enemies of the game, Octa Octa-Rocks. They will run around. They will run around, well, walk around, and spit rocks. They will stop for a moment before they spit, so you can kind of out-predict them that way. If you are holding your shield out, the rocks cannot hit them, but if you are hit by the rocks or your sword is out when the rock hits you, you will take damage. And there you go. Oh, this right here. This right here is a rupee. Rupees are basically the general currency in The Legend of Zelda. And there are two kinds of rupees in this game, a flashing rupee and a blue rupee. I think I'm just going to call them a yellow rupee and a blue rupee. A yellow rupee is worth 1 rupee, blue rupee is worth 5 rupees. So yeah. Head down here, we get to find some more new enemies. These are Tektites. They'll kind of just jump around, and they're kind of tough to hit, but if you just kind of relax and get your bearings straight, they shouldn't be too bad. Wow, I'm actually saying pretty good. This right here is a recovery heart. You definitely want to get as many of these as possible. I find it kind of odd that enemies always seem to drop them whenever I'm at full health, and when I'm not at full health, their op rate is not very high. The Let's Play curse. Anyways, starting off in the overworld here, there's plenty of things we can do right off the bat, but I think I want to actually go to where we're supposed to go right away. We got some more Octa-Rocks here. I would recommend you try to grind as many rupees as possible, and possibly get any health back if you lost any. Hopefully I can get a sword so I can show off the thing we were doing before. Oh yeah, there's a blue rupee right there. And what's up here? More Octa-Rocks. A lot of these. Oops. Jeez. Don't want to get hit too much, because it stacks. Come on, drop a heart. Of course. I think there's some more Octa-Rocks out here. Okay. By the way, I just want to say right here, I will openly admit that I am using a bunch of maps for this game. This game really is not very intuitive on like which way you're supposed to go. Oh, here we go. And so honestly, just like Metroid, feel no shame in using a map if you need to. I use one with every playthrough. Although I do want to do a playthrough of Zelda 1 and Metroid 1 without and Metroid 2 for that. Without using a map. Not something I've done before, but it sounds like a nice challenge. See if I can over me. Now, if you have full health, you need to have full health in order to do this. You can fire beams with your sword. It kind of looks more like you throw your sword, but throw my sword. It kind of looks more like you throw your sword, but it is a sword beam. You can only shoot the sword beams if you have full health, though. We start off with 3 heart containers. Each heart container has 2 hits in them, so effectively we have 6 health. If I head up here, you won't want to have your sword out ready. Move forward a bit. We got these enemies that are going to pop up right next to you. These are levers. They will try to pop up in front of you and ambush you. And wow, we got a lot of stuff from there. That jerk right there is a Zora. A Zora will basically appear in most bodies of water. And it will spit a fireball. With our current sword, they're really not the easiest thing in the world to kill. I think I've killed them before with the wooden sword, but it's not here. And you also can't block the projectiles because they're, fireballs, not rocks. If I head up here, we have a blue Octa-Rock. Blue Octa-Rock is basically the same as a red Octa-Rock, just that has a little bit more health. So, yeah. I took a lot of damage here. I admit to take a lot of damage in this area, at least. And we get to hear the first time that really obnoxious beeping sound already. Okay. Well, that Octa-Rock also dropped something else. This right here is a bomb. Sometimes enemies will drop bombs, and you can pick them up, and if you press B, you can lay them down on the ground, and you don't get hurt by the explosions. Each drop of bombs has 4 bombs in it, and you can hold a maximum of 8 bombs, at least at the moment. I'm gonna try my hardest not to press B while we're in here. Because when we go into this really weird looking tree stump, and we have some really cool music, but unfortunately it's getting drowned out because I am low on health. So yeah. Actually, right here, you can see there's a locked door right here. I think if I exit the dungeon and come back. Yeah, that door will be open. I think that's a glitch in this game, and, yeah, I learned about it a long time ago. But as we all know, here on Clona Comics 9999 Airways Let's Plays, we don't believe in abusing glitches. Unless it's something like Mew from Pokemon Generation 1. Then again, Pokemon in Gen 1... abusing glitches is really the only way you're going to get 100% in that game without eating up like hours upon days of your time. But anyways, let's head into this weirdly shaped tree stump, but let you listen to this really cool music real quick. So yeah, this is basically a dungeon, or a labyrinth, or a temple, or a level, if the upper left corner of the screen is to be believed. Dungeons are a typical staple of the Legend of Zelda series. Usually there are 8 of them. There's usually an average of 8 of them in the game. Sometimes it varies a little bit. Yeah, they are really what make the Zelda series. I would compare this dungeon theme. This plays in most of the dungeons. I would compare this dungeon theme to the Starman theme from Super Mario Brothers, where it's just that song that like loops every 5 seconds. I think in this case it would be like 20 seconds. But it just doesn't get old. I love this. Anyways, let's head in here and see what we find. Here we have a new enemy. These are Keese. Keese are basically bat-like enemies. Basically, they fly around, but after a while they have to stop to rest, and usually you can take advantage of them there. They never drop anything, though, so if you want to kill them for collectibles, you're not really going to get anything from them. Typically, enemies that die in one hit, except for Octa-Rocks, are like that. Like small enemies that are kind of fragile. And there we go. After beating all 3 of them, we get a key! And, gee, I wonder what that key is going to be used for. Yeah. Anyways, before we head in there, I want to head in here first. And we have more new enemies! These are Stalfos. They're basically like skeleton-like enemies that carry swords. If you are having trouble managing with them, they actually, only move in a different direction. Every, oh geez, that was close. Every, tile. So, so yeah, they're easy to counter that way. You can kind of just slash at them. There are some other enemies that do this, and it's a lot more useful, for that. That one down there that looks a little bit weird is the one you want to beat because it's actually holding a key. But I want to beat this one too, just in case it drops anything. And I really could use, a heart and a half. Yeah, but 5 rupees is fine too. And there we go, we got 2 keys now. Dookie, I don't know. Here we have more Stalfos. Get used to seeing these guys, and enjoy them while they're easy. Well, they're never really hard. They're just, they just do get a little bit of a challenge later. Now we head in here. We got more Stalfos. We don't necessarily need to fight them, though. I'm just going to because, like I said, I need some collectibles, and also there is something you get if you beat them. And like I said, you really want to grind as many rupees as possible early on. It really will make your life a lot easier. There we go. Finally stop that annoying beeping sound and enjoy the music again. I probably shouldn't try to sing to I probably shouldn't sing to dungeon themes because my throat was sore while I was sick. It's feeling better now, but my voice might crack a little bit more, but I'm not too sure. Here we have more keys. Before I don't get hit. Come on, dude! These are like the easiest enemies in the game. Okay. I found that I think if you leave one of them alive, the other ones will respawn. Because typically I found that if you leave a room and come back after a little while after defeating all the enemies, they might respawn. But if you just leave one alive, only that one will ever respawn. So, that's cool. These enemies are gels. They're nothing more than just little gel. I'd say they're probably the easiest enemy in the game. I say as I get hit by one. Gotta push this. No, I can't. But, if I try to push it now, yeah, sometimes there are these blocks that you push, but you can't push them until you defeat all the enemies in the room. What do we head in here? Hey, it's a guy. Eastmost Peninsula is the secret. Okay. Sometimes you'll find guys in here, and they'll give you hints of where to find things. So that's that's a helpful tip to remember. And we got more gels in here, but what is that little piece of paper there that looks like it has some writing on it? Okay, this right here is the dungeon map. Now we can see everything our way through the dungeon and know like where we're going. Although there are sometimes rooms that aren't listed on the map. So yeah. I really wish I could heal myself. There actually are some Stalfos up here. So I guess I'll go ahead and take care of them and hope to get some stuff. I should have been ashamed of myself I got hit there. Of course they don't drop anything, why would they? I'm probably gonna die in here. The sword beams really do help. I do apologize if I am making this game look harder. This game is honestly not nearly as hard as I'm making it look. It can be hard if you don't use your items right, but as you can see, we don't have any items. We don't have any bombs either because I had to reset. Yeah. Oh, I guess I had to beat them all to get out. Now we head in here. There's more keys. Watch one of them hit me. There's an item we can get in this dungeon that will actually make these guys a lot easier, but we don't have said item. I felt like they were one frame away from hitting me before. Definitely want to take advantage of them resting. This right here is the compass. The compass will do one thing. It'll basically mark on the map the place that you want to get to. However, it doesn't really mention where like items are or other things you might want to get. It really just only lists where you want to get to. Are you guys ever gonna drop any health? I guess you're undead, so I guess you can't really drop anything that makes people feel alive. Come on! See, when I was outside, they were dropping so much health when I had no health, or when I had max health. Jeez, I can't tell. And now they're not dropping any. That's exactly what I mean. Alright, I do not feel like fighting these guys, so yeah. They usually do respawn after a little while, so if you just keep that in mind. Thank God they didn't respawn in here. Now if we head in here, we got these jerks here. These enemies are Gorias. Basically, they throw boomerangs. They will damage you, but you can block them with your shield, which we might want to do and be a little bit careful when fighting them. They take 3 hits each with the wooden sword. Oh, bombs! I was gonna use the bomb to just kind of blow them up, so I wouldn't have to. Whatever. I shouldn't have turned away. That was my mistake. I could hit continue, which will take us back to the end of the dungeon. If I hit save, that'll save our progress, but it will return us back to the start of the overworld. If I hit retry, it'll do the same thing, but it won't save. So I'm just gonna hit continue. So while we did get all our health back, it still leaves left a bad taste in my mouth that we died. But at least we got our sword beams back. There's not really any secret ending if you beat the whole game without dying, so that is definitely a good thing. Okay, but before we go on, I want to show something else. If I place a bomb right here, check it out. It opened up a wall. Typically in this game, usually you can find a wall that you can bomb through, and you can like skip ahead of a room like that. There's one in here. And there's also one in here, which will take us back to the room with the Gorias. You can actually skip using a few keys and use them for a future. So yeah, sword beams make this heck of a lot easier. And the thing we get from these guys also make that a lot easier. We got this thing. This right here is the Boomerang. So we basically got the Boomerang from the guys that threw the Boomerang. This, it's actually a pretty useful item. I definitely think it would last you through the whole game. It normally it'll kill small enemies instantly, like gels or keys. But if it's a big enemy like the Stalfos, you can't use your items if you're in the doorway. It will actually stun them. And you can actually walk up and get it hits on them easily. So Boomerang's a pretty good item. It's limited in range, but it still works. Hold on. I want to show you something. No. Check it out, it turned into a splat banana. Reminds me of Rugrats Royal Red, so... Anyways, let's head through here, because we go through here, there actually isn't an item that you're definitely going to want to get. We have more Gorias in here, but now we can use their own weapon against them. It doesn't damage them, but it will stun them. Which, I guess being stunned is being better than being damaged. You know, I have kind of an explanation for why their boomerangs can damage you, but ours can't. But it won't really become relevant until later. We have another key. Gee, I wonder what door that will go to. And we have these things called blade traps. They appear as in the Minecraft Dungeon Mobs mode. They will usually strike at you whenever you get in front of them. So what you want to do is get in front of them, then move back, and while they're slowly moving back, go through them, and then go to where you want to. You want to push this block here so you can get through here, well, into here. And we got a bunch of keys. This is especially part of the better usually because we have a little side-scrolling area down here, and you will always find keys down here. And we have the bow. So we have a sword, a shield, and a bow. We are a hero. Well, we also got bombs and a boomerang. If I were to go to our equipment screen up here, I actually can't select that. Reason for this is because you actually we don't have any arrows for that. If you want arrows, you're actually gonna have to buy them. So I'll go ahead and let you guys know when that time comes. Because you won't necessarily need the bow for a heck of a long time, but it is good to have. Because it is required for story progression. And kind of just beating this game in general. Anyways, I think we've dawdled around this dungeon a little bit much. I hope there won't be much more explaining I need to do. I mean, I know there will be, but it's like most beginning of the games. There's usually a lot of tutorial stuff. Now, when you go into this room right here, what you want to do is head down, look down, and you'll see these hands coming out here. These are wall masters. Just keep throwing your boomerang at them and keep stunning them. Basically, if these guys hit you, they're going to carry you back to the beginning of the dungeon. Basically, you just want to keep throwing the boomerang at them until they stop spawning, and then slash at them all at once. And you can get a lot of stuff from them. And we got a key right here. But now listen. You hear that? That is the sound of this guy. This is Aquamentos, the boss of level 1. All you want to do is really just hit him with your sword. You can use sword beams, or you can get up close and personal and hit him. But if you want to get up close and personal with him, you actually have to hit him in the horn up there. He's not a tough boss at all. And there you go, we beat it. And for beating him, a typical thing in the Zelda series, we get a heart container. A heart container will increase your maximum life energy by 1, and basically, you can get a lot of these. It's definitely a good idea to do. Now, we head in here. Check it out, we're at the place where the compass directed us to. And there we go, our first triumph in The Legend of Zelda. But our journey has only just begun. Hang on just a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Now, you might be thinking the only way to be able to save your data and kind of stop playing for a bit. You might think the only way to do that is by dying. Well, actually, that's not true. If you have a second controller, which I do, you can actually pause the game by pressing start. You have to do it in start, not select. There's also the Triforce, where basically we have to go around the land and collect the 8 pieces of the Triforce. If you pause by pressing start and press up and A on the second controller, you'll actually go to the save screen automatically, and you can go ahead and save your data here. And there we go. and it will show how many heart containers you have, and there's also this number 1 under there. Before it was a 0. The number basically increases on every time you die. It doesn't increase when you save your game. That was a glitch in a later Zelda game. And yeah, the number will increase to show how many times you've died in that playthrough. I really don't know if anything special happens if you beat the entire game without dying. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. But the people on Reddit Zelda told me that there wasn't. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Redone LP of The Legend of Zelda. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. And next time on The Legend of Zelda, we are going to take on... Well, we're going to explore around the land of Hyrule and see what other things we can get after we beat the first dungeon. See you guys then.